Princess Adanne was different from every other maiden in the village. She had spiritual powers, which she used for the betterment of her kingdom. But aside the power, there was something else that surprised the people. Princess Adanne had a full beard, like a man. Does her beard hold a secret to her extraordinary abilities? The people wondered. Rumors of the beard princess reached the ears of neighboring kingdoms. They wondered if the king's unparalleled power was deprived from his enigmatic daughter. One day, a stranger who seemed to have traveled a great distance arrived at the village, carrying nothing but a walking stick. The villagers who saw him first whispered among themselves, unsure of who he was or what his purpose might be. By the time the stranger reached the center of the village, the news had spread. Adanne, seated under an orange tree in front of the palace with her mother, noticed the way the people seemed to look curiously in a certain direction. Just as she wondered what the people were staring at, a man in his late middle age came through. "This is a stranger. He seemed to have come from a far distance," the princess said. "What must have brought him to our kingdom?" she asked. When the man entered the palace, first he met the princess and her mother sitting outside and introduced himself as Ikenga. He claimed to be a wanderer, a seeker of knowledge, but the princess could sense something deeper in him. There was a power in his voice, a quiet strength that made people listen whenever he spoke. He was welcomed and given a royal treatment by the royal household, after which he left and inhabited in a hut on the edge of the village. He came to the village claiming to bring news from far-off lands, but he seemed particularly interested in Adanne. Every time their paths crossed, he would watch her with a look that made her uneasy. Eze, a village drunk who happened to be the princess' acquaintance, noticed it too, though his words were considered as that of a drunk. One day, Ikenga approached Adanne while she was gathering herbs in the forest. "You are different," he said to Adanne. "The villagers speak of you as if you are a goddess." "I am no goddess," the princess said. "I'm just a healer." Ikenga smiled. "A healer, yes, but you have power, princess." He asked the princess if she has ever wondered what else she could do if she was pushed beyond the limits of what she knew. Adanne frowned, unsettled by his words. She told him that she had been given the gift by her chi and that she does not seek more than what she had been blessed with. "There is always more, princess. The question is whether you are brave enough to seek it." As Ikenga settled into the village, strange things began to happen. Small disturbances at first, crops wilting for no apparent reason, the people and animals acting stickish and nervous, and the king fell gravely ill and was confined to his bed. The princess mixed some herbs and began treating the sick, but as she worked, she could see there was no improvement. It was as if the sickness was alive, fighting her efforts to heal. The king's sickness ignited fears for his survival among his people, especially the royal household. She had healed many people before, but this was different. The darkness felt stronger, more dangerous than anything she had ever encountered. She could not help but feel that Ikenga's arrival was more than coincidence. She began having visions, dreams of evil shadows stretching over the land. In these dreams, Ikenga's face appeared often, watching and laughing at her whilst keeping a distance. Adanne confided in Eze one morning after a restless dream. "Ikenga is not what he seems," she said. "He's brought something dark with him, and that is beginning to trouble the peace of this village." "I felt it too," Eze said. "There's something off about him, but he hasn't done anything to warrant suspicion. The people trust him." "That's what worries me," Adanne replied. "He's winning them over little by little. I fear he's hiding his true intentions, waiting for the right moment to strike." Eze nodded. "We will watch him. If there is something dark at work here, we will face it together," he assured the princess. As Adanne's worry grew, she decided to seek the face of her ancestors. On the night of a full moon, Adanne stood by her hut. She closed her eyes, focusing on her connection to the spirits, and muttered some prayers. She asked her chi to direct her on how to handle the stranger and reveal his true identity and intentions in the village. As she slept that night, she saw herself making a journey into the forest to see a dibia whose name was Ibudu. Ibudu was a dibia who lived deep in the forest beyond their lands. It was said that he has not been seen in many years, but his power is unmatched. Immediately, Adanne woke up. She knew that if anyone can help her, it would be Ibudu. She told her friend Eze everything, and they made the decision to visit Ibudu. As they were about leaving, they met some villagers who had gathered in small groups, sick and dying. The princess wondered what would become of them if they don't find the dibia. There may be no hope for them. Eze assured her that they would find Ibudu. They made the journey into the forest. When they arrived at Ibudu's hut, it was as if Ibudu had known they would come. "The spirits sent you, did they?" Ibudu asked. "You carry a gift of your own, child, but you do not yet understand its full power. Please help us, wise one. A sickness is spreading in our village, and I've been told by the spirits that is the work of dark forces." "You're right, child. The man you call Ikenga is not who he claims he is." "Who is he, wise one?" Adanne asked. "Ikenga is a servant of the dark spirits, spirits that feed on fear, greed, and chaos. He has been sent to weaken the village from within, just to see how powerful you are. He will frustrate you. The things happening in your village now will seem like nothing compared to what's coming if he is not stopped." "How do we stop him?" Eze asked. Ibudu told Adanne that she is protected by her chi, and Ikenga's power would only take hold on her people. He is already destroying their health, turning them against each other, and feeding their fears and desires. You must find a way to break his hold over them, Ibudu said. "I can do nothing more for you, princess. You possess the strength to defeat him. My role is to guide you. You should go to the stream and take a bath before dawn's first light. This will fully unlock your gifts." Adanne knew the impending battle would not be easy, but she had no choice. Her beloved village was in danger, including her father, and she would do whatever it took to protect them. When Adanne and Eze returned to the village, they found it changed. Tensions were rising among the people. Small arguments turned into heated disputes. Crops were failing, and some blamed the princess. They said that her power had waned, that the protection she had once provided was no longer strong enough. Ikenga, meanwhile, seemed to thrive in the growing discord. He spoke often to the villagers, telling them that they deserve more, that the hardships they faced were not accidents, but the result of hidden enemies among them. Adanne watched people turn against one another. She tried to reason with them, to remind them of the peace they had enjoyed only months before, but her words fell on deaf ears. Eze told Adanne that the people wouldn't listen to her, as Ikenga had poisoned their mind, and they saw him as their savior now, the one who would lead them to a better life. Adanne shook her head. "We have to find a way to break this hold. If we don't, the village will destroy itself from within." As the situation in the village worsened, Adanne decided to confront Ikenga directly. And in the next market day, she went to the stream and took her bath before the first light of the dawn as instructed by Ibudu. Immediately she poured the water on her body. She felt a potent energy surge through her, and a powerful shadow enveloped her. "It is time, Ikenga. Wait for me," she said. By dusk, she went to Ikenga's hut and found him standing by his hut. "You've come to stop me, haven't you?" he said, as he tries to mock the princess. "But it's too late, princess. The people have already chosen me. They don't need you anymore. You've poisoned their minds with your lies. but I won't let you destroy this village. You think you can stop me? You are nothing more than a tool of the spirits. You have no real power of your own, he said. Adanne told him that she has more power than he can ever imagine, and that the people may have forgotten who they were, but she will remind them. Ikenga was filled with rage. We will see about that. And with a wave of his hand, he sent dark shadow towards Adanne. Adanne stretched out her hands, pushing back against the oncoming shadow. The two forces collided. The darkness battered against her protective shield, but Adanne stood firm. The fate of the village rested in her hands, and she would not let it fall. You think your charms can protect you? Ikenga said as he drew closer to her. You have no idea what you're up against. Adanne stood her ground. She told him that though he may have confused the people, they were not lost. She vowed to Ikenga that she would lead them out of the darkness he had cast upon them. Ikenga told her she was a fool to think the people still cared for her. He claimed they had seen through her weakness and now sought strength, which he offered. You are no longer their protector, he taunted. Princess Adanne knew who she was, and that her power came from her connection to her chi and the goodness within her. She refused to let Ikenga's manipulation make her doubt herself. The battle raged on. Ikenga summoned all the evil spirits he knew, but Adanne countered them all with her own powers. The earth shook as the two foes exchanged powers. Ikenga became weak as the battle continued, but Adanne's strength only grew. With the clutch of her hands, she shattered Ikenga's defenses. All his powers subsided, and he fell to the ground. I came to test your strength, princess. I had heard rumors of your gifts, and I had to know how powerful you truly are. Adanne's heart heaved with exertion. You tormented innocent people to satisfy your curiosity, the princess asked. Your power is breathtaking, please forgive me. Adanne told him that his powers has been vanquished. She asked him to seek forgiveness and then use his power to protect rather than harm. Ikenga, with his head bowed in shame, departed from the village. The villagers, freed from the spell, returned to their senses. Princess Adanne raised her hands, calling out to the spirits. I offer myself as the vessel for balance. I call upon the power of my ancestors, the power of the earth and sky to restore harmony. Immediately, those who had once been at each other's throats over petty disputes suddenly remembered the peace they had shared before Ikenga's arrival. The king and the villagers who had fallen ill slowly regained their strength. It wasn't long before someone mentioned Princess Adanne. She's the one who healed us. She's the one who brought peace in this village. Weeks passed, and life in the village slowly returned to normal. The villagers praised Adanne. While some called her a savior, others said that she was chosen by the gods for themselves. Adanne smiled, though her heart was still heavy with the knowledge of what had nearly happened. We did it, she corrected. All of us, the village, remembered who they were and what mattered the most, which is unity, love, and trust. And that's what saved us, she said. The people continued to recover, and the sickness that had gripped the land vanished as if it had never existed. Adanne continued to serve as the village healer. Though now her role had shifted, she was no longer just a healer of the body, but also of the heart and spirit. The people came to her not only for remedies, but for guidance and wisdom. As time continued its relentless march forward, the princess realized her strength lies on her beard, and her chi had instructed her not to ever shave it off. When the princess reached a marriageable age, suitors avoided her. A bearded queen? Unthinkable, they said. The men of the kingdom saw her as one of their own, as fellow companion rather than a potential bride. They sought her counsel, but ignored her feminine charms. Adanne's father, the king, worried about the future. He desired a worthy partner for his princess, one who would cherish her unique qualities. Eze, the village drunk, saw beyond Adanne's beard, but could not let his intentions towards her known to either the princess nor the king, because he thought they would consider him unfit for her. The princess' heart, on the other hand, has already grown feelings for Eze the drunkard. She knew his drunkenness stemmed from the circumstances surrounding his birth. His mother had died shortly after delivering him, and he was nursed with palm wine, which led to a lifelong addiction to its flavor and taste. Unbeknownst to Eze, the princess sought help for him and eventually found a solution. The village's notorious drunkard suddenly lost interest in wine and soon developed an intense aversion to it. Eze, overjoyed for his transformation, sought the princess' hand in marriage. The king, who had witnessed his transformation from a drunkard to a decent young man, was proud of him and gladly gave his daughter's hand to him in marriage. After the king's passing, Princess Adanne and Eze ascended the throne and ruled the kingdom with wisdom, justice, and love. Together, the royal couple expanded the kingdom, healed and brought prosperity to their people.